Okay, for this lesson, you're working with equations, solving equations, and things of that nature. So we're going to look at question number 1. I'm going to do this one, and then number 2, we'll do this one together. So with number 1, it says, which equations represent the same value for t? Let's look at it. Roman number 1 is 2t plus 5 equals 3t minus 2. Roman number 2, t minus 6 equals 8 minus t. And then Roman number 3, 4t plus 3 4/10 equals 2t minus 11. So in here you can see all the different answer combinations. So the first thing we have to do is take equation number 1 and let's solve it. So I'm going to take this one and solve it. So to solve this, I'm going to write it on the side. 2t plus 5 equals 3t minus 2. And the first thing we do for this particular problem is we subtract. And we're going to get rid of one of the t's. And you always get rid of the t that has the lowest coefficient. So that would be the 2t. So I'm going to minus 2t from each side. And when I simplify it, I'm left with 5 on the left side. And here's my little river to keep things divided. On this side, I have 1t minus 2. Now, the next thing I would need to do is get rid of the minus 2. And so I'm going to add 2. I was going to say subtract, but the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I should add. So when I do that and simplify, I get 7 on this side, and I get t left on this side. So here, t is equal to 7. So I know this particular value is equal to 7. Next, I'm going to solve the second equation. So I'm going to make some room here and get prepared to solve equation number 2. All right, now, equation number 2 is t minus 6 equals 8 minus t. And so here, I know that this is 1t, and here this is minus 1t. And so what I want to do is get the smallest one eliminated. So I'm going to do minus 1t, or the opposite of it. So the opposite of minus 1t is plus 1t. So I'm going to add t to both sides like this. Also, I'm going to create my river to keep things balanced. Next, when I simplify, these t's, they eliminate each other, and that leaves me with 8 on the right side. And here, 1t plus 1t is 2t, and I still have minus 6. Okay, so the next thing I should do is I should eliminate the minus 6. So I'm going to go plus 6 to each side. And now when I eliminate, the 6's eliminate, and I get 2t equals 14. And the last thing I'm going to do, I think I can squeeze it in, is I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And when I do that, I get t equals 7. So for this equation, t is equal to 7. Next, I'm going to work with equation number 3 and figure out the solution for that one. Okay. All right. So for this one, I have 4t plus 3.4 equals 2t minus 11. And so I didn't get that clear, so I'm just going to rewrite that so it's nice and long. 4t plus 3 4/10 equals 2t minus 11. There you have it. Okay, so now from here, the first thing I want to do is eliminate the smallest t. And so this one, it says 2t over here, and this one says 4t. So 2 is the smallest one. So I'm going to subtract 2t from each side. Minus 2t like that. Okay, the t's will eliminate on this side. I'll make my little river, keep things organized. And 4t minus 2t, that's 2t, plus 3.4. And then here, that's minus 11. The next thing I would do is subtract 3 and 4/10. So minus 3.4. And here they eliminate on this side. So I would be left with 2t equals minus 11 minus 3.4. And so a lot of you all know that when I do that, this is what I have to put in my calculator, 11 minus 3.4, which is going to turn out to be negative 14.4, or negative 14 and 4/10. So my equation is going to look like 2/10 equals negative 14 and 4/10. So I'll just erase a little bit of this so you can see it. All right. Then the next thing I would do here is divide by 2. And when I'm done, whatever that comes out to be, those of y'all who have calculators, you'll probably be working way faster than I'm working. But I'm going to take this and divide it by 2. And so I would get t is equal to negative 7.2. All right, so if that is the case, this last equation, the answer is negative 7.2. So there's only 2 that have the same value. It's equation number 1 and equation number 2. So the answer here would be B. Okay? Next. The next thing we're going to do is look at question number 2. So I modeled that one, and you saw me working through it to see what the answer could be. And so we're going to work through the next problem. Okay, we're ready for problem number 2. Remember, our answer for the first problem was B. And so I'll just circle that here. This was our answer choice. Oops, maybe I should clean that up. Our answer choice was B. All right, next. Number 2, an internet company chooses to advertise with banners on websites visited by a target customer group. The web advertiser offers 2 plans with the same final cost. The first plan offers 3,000 banner ads for X dollars each plus a setup fee of $50. The second plan offers 2,000 banner ads for X dollars each plus a setup fee of $100. What is the cost per banner for each of these groups? So the first thing I'd like to do is take my highlighter and highlight some important information. So since this internet company, they offer 2 plans with the same final cost, I'm going to highlight that piece because that means these 2 plans, they cost the same. All right. And so if they're the same, that gives me a hint that this is going to be an equation and not an inequality. Next, it says the first plan offers 3,000 banners for X dollars each. So that would be 3,000. When they say each, that means multiply. So 3,000x, and then it says plus a setup fee. And so when I see setup fee, I know a setup fee is when we talked about that earlier in the year, that means plus something additional. So that's $50. All right, so this is for the first plan. Now the second plan offers 2,000 banner ads for X dollars each. So I'm going to write 2,000. And when they say X banners each, that means multiply. So 2,000X. They have a setup fee that costs $100. So I'm going to write plus $100. So these 2 plans, and this is the second plan here, these 2 plans have to be equal to one another. So my equation would be 3,000x plus 50 equals 2,000x plus 100. Okay, and I know that may be tough to see. It's kind of long. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this at the top, nice and long, and then we're going to solve it. Okay, so now the first thing we're going to do is get rid of, remember, the lowest coefficient of x. And so I see 3,000x and I see 2,000x. So that means I need to remove 2,000x first. Okay, so minus 2,000x minus 2,000x. Of course, I'm going to have a river to keep everything separated. And now when I simplify, I get 1,000x plus 50. This side, I'm left with 100. So now this is a two-step equation. So the next thing I need to do is do the opposite of plus 50, which is minus 50. And when I simplify, I get 1,000x equals 50. The next thing I need to do is, since that's 1,000 times x, I need to divide by 1,000. Okay, and when I do that and simplify, I get x is equal to 50 divided by 1,000. That's 5 over 100, or 1 over 20. Okay? Some people may have a decimal. If you get a decimal, that's 5/100. So either answer works. Okay? So the best answer choice here would be S, 5 cents. Okay. All right. So that does it for number 1. Our answer was B. For number 2, our answer choice was F. Now you're going to do the third problem on your own. So good luck.